Welcome, adventurers.
Oh man, we got a whole lot going on in the chat.
A little bit late here, so I'm just gonna. Okay, why don't you talk about the chat, Bill? And we'll, you know what? Well, let's just get everything going. This is the. Whoops, I did something wrong. Okay, hey, all right, welcome, adventurers. This is the Reptile Show Reporter Show, and here we're live. Today I have, as always, Bill Strand and two Turtle Toms joining us as well. So let's play the video and we'll go from there. All right, the video ended early. I don't know, not early, but it's Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, or a little bit after 5 p.m. on the West. And I'm yelling again. Why do I always yell at the beginning of the show? I don't know, but I think I got myself
it's so I can hear you all the way in California.
Yeah, I know. All right, tonight we have two Turtle Toms joining us, and we're talking about the Reptarium and Brian Barczyk and all his goals and his legacy and what have you. Although, to my knowledge, he's not gone. He's still with us, but he's kind of hanging out with family. Let's go to the chat. All right,
we got a lot going on, and you need to.
We got a lot going on there. So Liza Ann was there early, and so was Chris, and Nate Rowley's new to this chat. I haven't seen him on there before. Let's just start with the first few people. I added a bunch of pictures, so we're gonna have to figure out where we're at here. And the mouse isn't working. Okay, let's see. Where's Liza Ann? There she is. And I gotta take this down from the stage here. Get rid of this. All right, there we go. There's
I learned something. Her name, Eliza Ann. Mm-hmm. That's her digital name. Her screen. We all know her as Eliza Ann, but I guess in real life she's Eliza.
Oh,
so she's got a special community name.
Wow. I do too. I'm McZoo at some point, so I guess I can't comment on that thing. There's Chris. I don't have our other friend from today because
Nate.
All right, Ben is here.
Find a picture of Nate.
All right, where are we at here? All right.
Well, we got Mikey Ben and James.
And James. All right. James Cross?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel, he's here. He's so famous now. He's going to be so famous this Saturday. I don't know. He's actually here to help us in CNC Tortoise.
You know what? By time Saturday comes, he's going to have a guest fee.
Right. And I know, and it's you're going to be charged it, and I'm not going to pay it for you, Bill, though. So there we go. There's James Cross. All right. So there we go. And our topic for today is the Reptarium. And actually not the Reptarium, but Brian Barczyk and the Reptarium and his legacy situation. At least the legacy aquarium.
Well, wait a minute. We have CNC tortoises. I've seen that name pop up. So
Mike Chan.
What?
Mike Chan. He's
Mike
from
Chan. Okay.
Chan. He's from Vancouver Island.
All right. Great.
Very cool.
Thanks. Okay. All right. So now we've got that person and all the other.
Well, and then there's Panther Palette.
Panther Palette. I don't think we've ever had Panther Palette on here either. Wow, there's a lot of new people today. They're going to have high expectations, and we're going to deliver a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Drink.
Nothing
alcoholic in my drink today. Usually there isn't because I don't drink much. But what was that Irish saying? I don't drink anymore, but I don't drink any less. All right, so Mikey Ben.
Hey, Nate. Right. Nate's from Ohio. Nate came in. Eliza Ann invited Nate. So it's starting to spread, and Nate is from Alliance, Ohio.
Good.
All right.
Not too far down the road from me.
All right.
A lot of Ohio people. Well, Nate, you'll have to come to we're going to have a get-together in March.
Oh, so that's the next on the list of things to talk about, Bill. Any announcements?
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I got a whole lot of announcements. Well, first of all, the get together that we're talking about in Dayton, Ohio, that's going to be set in a couple of weeks. There's some things that need to be worked out, and for everybody who is wondering, what is this? Well, there's a grand opening at Custom Reptile Habitats, which I'm going to be there, and Two Turtle Tom and Sean said, hey, wait a minute, we can be there too. And Steve Hefner said we ended up making this a get together on our own. we just made it into something more than it was supposed to be. So we're going rogue here, but we'll have details. And so anybody who's in the whole Ohio area or wants to be in the Ohio area,
it's Dayton, so it's Southern Ohio, Southern Middle Ohio. So
Northern Kentucky, Indiana, not too far from Indianapolis.
All right.
Michigan, people can go down there. People are going to come from Michigan.
Jettown 75.
All right.
All I know is that I get on an airplane and I'm transported.
All right, there we go. Okay. Any other announcements, Bill?
Wonderland.
I'll have more announcements in the future. I'm making grand plans for doing another get together, shall we say?
So, and James Cross, the famous James Cross, is going to show up on your.
That's
Cross
right.
Cut, I guess.
Oh, that's right. I got to say that James Cross
up on Saturday
is going to be my co-host on Saturday, and I'm not going to interview him. He's just going to be my co-host, and just hang out.
Wow,
I'm going to be talking.
That's the ranking of co-hosts. That's a big step. So, all right. All right,
well,
Tom.
It just takes responsibility off of me to do anything.
That's what you're supposed to do, Bill. Here, Tom. Announcements
every Thursday night, 8 p.m. on the Two Turtle Tom YouTube channel. Watch this tonight, and then Thursday night, jump over and we talk about turtles.
And then Tuesday is Bill all the time. Although, were you on last Tuesday, Bill? Yesterday, You was. I couldn't find you. I was about cleaning my reptile room last night at 8:00, and was it 8:00? And I couldn't find you. I don't know. Maybe my.
What are you talking about, man? I was there. I was saying hello to everybody.
All right.
I watched the rewind this afternoon. I watched a little bit of it.
But I ended up going over because we got talking.
Okay, that happens a lot at your show, though, there, Bill.
Yeah, apparently.
All right. So for me, podcast number 14, Art by Michelle, which is Michelle and her husband from the Michigan Reptile Shows where I met them. And speaking of the Michigan Reptile Show, the Taylor Show, I will be there tomorrow. I will be there on Saturday and what have you. So I'm going to be at that one. I was going to go to the Reptarium afterwards, and the Reptarium is full. There's no spots available on Saturday all day long. So I decided I'm going to go to the Saline show, and then go to Reptarium there. So I got tickets for the 3rd. So I'll be at the Saline Michigan show on the 3rd and the Reptarium. So all right, Eduardo's here. I don't know who
Eduardo.
Okay.
Hello, Eduardo. All right. Well, we've got Chris has got some news.
Okay. All right.
I've read ahead. I've looked into the future, and it's unfortunate news, but we need to go through it.
Okay. Bill, would you go through it, or should I?
I can go through it. You can bring it. The show his show is probably going to have to be canceled because of some ordinances. And so they decided they kind of pulled the rug from under his feet. They said yes, and now they're saying no. And let's see. Calls me the next day, says you absolutely cannot have the expo in this city. When she had emailed me saying the ordinance had changed, now I can't have my show. Now it changes.
I was talking to him about it in my Instagram, but he said he's scrambling to find a new venue and it's not looking good. But I was talking about it to him a couple days ago on the Instagram feed. But I was going to try to get a picture at the Taylor show, but he's not going. So or not going to go. Not hopefully, but anyways. All right.
All right. You know what? But Chris, that was so cool that you got as far as you did. That I think that is a great idea. I'm very sorry to hear that it wasn't working out.
Detroit, the city of Detroit, you can't keep a reptile, I think.
Right.
What I heard. That's just nuts.
If you listen to the podcast, you can't keep a turtle over 4 inches, but of course you can't buy a turtle under 4 inches. So what do you have them for a day and then you get them away? I don't know, but there was something about a python that got away, not a reticulated python that got away back in 20, what was it, 20? I don't know. I checked the podcast out, number 14, and hear the whole story.
Yeah.
And I talk about it with Michelle and her husband. Oh, wow, his name is skipping my brain, but I talk with them on the podcast, and it's just not good. And those two mysteries. Oh, Tom.
Yes.
Can we keep hot venomous type stuff here in Ohio? I was told that's
you have to have a dangerous reptiles permit to do that, or keep snakes above 12 inches. Yes,
12,
you can.
12 feet, not 12 inches.
12 inches. Yeah, 12 feet.
And how do you do it? How do you know how long your snake is if it's 12 feet or longer?
You watch a Brian Barczyk video. He measures his snakes. This is a good segue. But you take a string and put the string just along the spine of the snake and cut it off at the end, and then you straighten out that string and
hold it in half and count that.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I can't keep a snake longer than 12 feet because then someone will actually know how to measure it. So some of these vendors at the Michigan show last time were telling me, oh, you can't measure them that big. They're moving all over the place. But apparently you can. So I guess that's out of that was because they were trying to sell me a straight reticulated python, not a dwarf. And I was like, Ohio's really, I don't want them, I don't have to get a permit and all that stuff. And, what have you. I've got enough stuff to deal with. So, okay. So, let's get to the topic at hand today.
By the way, you need to say, look, you've got a special guest.
Okay.
You've got Annabelle here.
Annabelle.
This is Annabelle's first time here, but Annabelle has been following in the recordings.
Annabelle, where is she at?
Well, Annabellistic.
Oh, still can't see that. I don't know where we're. Oh, Animalistic. There we go.
Hey.
All right. So we'll show her comment there. We also have Inspector Gadget here.
Uh-huh.
And we have my phone giving off alarms, which happened to me at the dentist. I was at the dentist. That's why my mouth is so dry for 2 hours this afternoon. Everything went well. Everything came out okay. Hey, I even have my Reptile Army shirt on today.
Hey, all right.
On after the dentist, but I was at the dentist for 2 hours. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't terrible, but that my mouth is dry. She kept trying to get things done and had to dry my mouth out and kept drying it with air. And then I got home and I was so parched. But anyways, that's enough of that. So let's get rid of this comment here. That's easy. This software is so good, Bill. It actually lets you hide something without actually finding it. I mean,
yeah, I like this so much better. For those who don't know, Sean and I have switched our live software, and we're very happy.
Yes, we are.
I'm going to be a rebel and not switch.
After we left to Turtle Tom, and I let him have our software name and gave it to him, and then I bought a whole year of the other software at half off. And then I decided this just doesn't matter.
Well, maybe you can transfer it to me. I'm using Restream.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Transfer it. Say, hey.
I've had no problems.
Yeah.
It's worked pretty well.
I don't know.
Very similar. But Brian Barczyk.
Yeah.
No, I want to make fun of you for being on Restream.
Like only friends and only enemies.
Frenemies, yes.
Only frenemies let their friends use Restream. Sorry, Restream people.
Friends don't let their friends use Restream.
Yes,
so
exactly.
That's Bill's.
Friends only let their enemies.
That with Bill because he let me use Restream. He talked me into it.
Restream served me well for 2 years.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah, although
but this StreamYard, it's hands down better.
Cool.
But I won't talk to you anymore about it, Tom, because you'll just have to you'll have to have StreamYard Envy or whatever. But streaming service Envy. But okay,
I'm satisfied with my service.
Let's get back to the topic at hand because everyone here is worried about Brian Barczyk and all that we know about him, which I have personally never even met Brian Barczyk. I've watched his videos for many, many years. I've been to the Reptarium. I'm going to go again. I've parked in the Legasea parking lot, which is right across the street from the Reptarium. I was going to show a video with that, but that's not really that important to waste our time on that. But I have a video of me sitting in the parking lot of the Legasea and looking at the Restream and turning it around. And right across the street is the Legasea, which is apparently today I heard on his channel that the huge tank showed up today. I don't know how many 100 gallons or 1,000 gallons or whatever. Thousands of gallons of tanks showed up today. They were talking about it this morning at 9 a.m. and 9:03. I got that announcement in my inbox that it was there. So, anyways, all right. So if you're here, shout out on the comments so we can shout you out as well. And I know that we've got a few new people here. So, all right. So, Bill, what is you've met him, of course. You've met him at a couple of different things. Talk to me about your, I guess, relationship or whatever it might be.
Well, I will say I don't know him very well. Mm-hmm. I met him at Animalcon, and we were scheduled to do an interview last week, which I'm not sure I will get to do that interview. We'll see. Probably, so I know him at a high level. And I think the message here is not, you don't have to really know him to understand the message that, we don't, I mean, it sounds so trite, but we got to make the most of every day. I think a year ago, would it be a year ago? I don't know that he knew about this a year ago. And so we all think I think I've got 35 years to go, but everybody thinks they've got X number of years to go. And then then you get news. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And I think the thing we can take away from this, and I mean, honestly, I go through this. I've hit that wonderful stage of life where I'm starting to lose my friends. And I mean, Sean, one of these days you'll get as old as me. And
actually, no, I won't, Bill. I'll always.
I guess you're right. You're right.
I will never spend one day
Bill is alive.
And Tom will always probably be the youngest. I actually don't know Tom's age, but I'm ballparking.
I'm halfway to 90 next month.
All right, so yeah.
Oh,
so
what the heck! Oh my goodness!
Limit on the highway, and I'm 1 mile an hour slower. So depending on in October I'll be at the same situation. So at 55. But
you look at Brian. He had a huge mission. He was dedicated to his Reptarium and his legacy. I mean, he had these things he was working on, and I mean, huge things. And the rest, a number of us, I won't say the rest of us, don't have that big of things not as flashy of things, but we all have something in our life that we are doing. And what this really has been meaning to me is impressing upon how much we have to value what it is we are doing. And I look at what I'm doing. I touch the chameleon community, and okay, some in the reptile community, I eke out into the reptile community, but many people would look at that and they'd say, well, no, not many people. For the longest time, would look at that and say, oh my goodness, why is it I'm so good at chameleons? Why couldn't I be this good at accounting software or something that I could be sitting at the table to Bill Gates? No, but no, I have to be obsessed with and actually tend to be doing good with this obscure lizard. And for so long in my life, decades, I loved chameleons. I did things with chameleons, but I was always trying to do a job that was more meaningful. And I did that for a number of decades in consumer electronics and all this kind of stuff. but it wasn't. It was I think in 2019 that I finally looked at myself and said, all right, this is what you're good at. This is what you love to do. This is where you're meant to be. It doesn't matter how big it is. You've got enough people to touch in this small niche community that it's meaningful. Turn around and dedicate yourself to do it and be the absolute best you can be, and touch this number of lives. I mean, I'm not going to be the president of the United States, and so I'm not responsible for an entire country. I'm going to be responsible for just a little community, but I want to do it well. I want, and I've realized as I've turned around and embraced that there's an amazing amount of fulfillment in the small community. And I didn't expect to find that to where this is. I feel like I've touched a number of people within the community, and I've found a new sense of purpose in what I'm doing because of it. And this is what Brian did. He did it at a larger scale, and I think we should look at that and say, yeah, we got to do that too in our, even though we're in a smaller community or we're touching fewer people, they're still people. They're still people, and it's still meaningful. And so that's really what I've taken from it.
Oh, my phone keeps going off. Just if I can, Tom, I just want to interject. I am thankful to my parents, and my grandma Geraldine McNeely, and my great grandfather, who I've never met, who was a physician, because my dad pushed this whole being a doctor on me, and not pushed it, but he just kept every day. And so I have always, since I got into that, had a thing in life that was like bigger and greater. And I enjoy this type of thing, and I enjoy being part of this community. And I love all the people who are on this show, but I've always had that kind of wow. And I think every day how great it is to be able to be in that kind of position. And so that's kind of my thing. And so this is just fun, but it's great to actually have a job that pays the bills a lot, and
that's nice too.
and that I love, and I will never retire. I don't think, until they throw me out on my fat head, I will never retire, even if I have to work for free. Don't tell them my boss is that. Yeah, right. But I will never retire. And I love what I do, and I know I have many examples of people who kept working longer, and you do different stuff as time goes on. But still, I had the stroke August, of about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, and that reminded me of, getting back actually from being a physician who was actually in charge of all these physicians and not actually seeing patients anymore. I gotten to the point that, except for the pandemic, which caused all kinds of havoc, that I was mostly not seeing patients. I was mostly just helping patients when they had problems with my providers and what have you. But I'm now seeing patients 3 days a week, and the other 2 days doing administrative stuff and seeing other stuff. But that was a great change to and that was my Waterloo, and I'm very happy that it was so small. It was like it was a significant stroke, but I've gotten so much better. And just the other day I had I was in the basement, and something fell, and I was like going to get mad, and I just like, because emotions when you have a stroke are tremendous. You just can't control them the way you could before. At least I couldn't. And so I didn't get mad. And I'm like, wow. And I was opening my cricket boxes, and it was easier to do than it's ever been. And it's just like, holy mackerel, I'm back. It's a little bit more each day. And so when I'm thankful, and I realize that no matter what you have or where you're at, you can't be both sad and angry, or angry and thankful at the same time, no matter what. So I've kind of pushed my life to being thankful. So multiple times a day. I'm talking about what I'm thankful for, no matter how challenging things get or how I used to be able to be. I used to be, 49 this hand, 51 this hand. Now it's more like 75 and 25. But I was fortunate enough that it was this hand, not my original dominant hand that I had the stroke with. And so I know but I understand, where Brian's coming from. It's, where he's at this point. I don't understand at all about having a shorter lifespan, a terminal diagnosis. I mean, life is, we don't know how long we're going to walk out, and someone may walk out, and get run over. But it's a challenge, and he is continued towards his bright light, like his leading path, his city on the hill, his Reptarium, and I very much hope that he gets to see it finished. Now, I don't want him to be there for all of us to see it, but I want him to be able to see it just finished, and because it's such a great goal and such an incredible thing that he's built there, that it's just, I hope that he gets to it. So anyways.
Yeah, and Sean, I think that's probably why he is. That's all he probably has left at this point, is to be able to see it finished. If he gave anything more to the Legacy Aquarium, he might not be able to see it be finished. But maybe there is a chance. I'm hoping there is.
There is always a chance.
Yeah, and
with positive attitude and good diet and there's always a chance. Now, it may be 1%, but there's always a chance. People do live. People do get cured. I'm sure that he's gone to, he's now in hospice, which is, you talk about a 6 month in Ohio, it's 6 months before you have to have a 6 month life expectancy. But that's what his particular type of cancer has anyway. So he's been almost a year with it. So he's been around, and he's got the Animalcon, right? Animalcon, that's what it's called. Yes. And they're still pushing that now. I know that maybe he won't be there, but boy, I really hope that he gets to be there.
That would be so cool if he showed up.
Yes.
That would be a true miracle, I think. Yeah. And to not only did he continue to run his business and push forward the Legacy Aquarium, he did it all in public. And I mean, who would put themselves out like that when they are so sick, they're hurting, they're in pain? I mean, it's just incredible dedication to his mission and what he wants to accomplish.
And the incredible thing is he recorded that video to say goodbye, and he's actually able to hear everybody's responses to it because he's not gone yet. They put it out already. And his kids are talking to him about it, and his kids are part of his dream. And that's just incredible to hear. And so many people have talked about him. I was listening to Wiccan's Reptiles live show the other night. He was talking about, he actually, I put some money towards, but he was
got a shout out
trying to raise money to the, for the Reptarium, and they were going to sponsor an animal. It was going to, I was rooting for 2 frilled dragons, but I don't know what he ended up choosing because it was too long a situation. But there's so many people out there. I didn't even know that Brian was such a big part of Adam's life and was one of those people who pushed him along when he was ready to give up. And I never heard that before or anything like that. So it was kind of interesting just to hear his perspective on Brian. And I've seen his videos. I've listened to his channel. I follow his channel. There's so much cool stuff that he does. And, I would love to be, able to be in the position that he's in to be able to get this Reptarium up but that's my wife and I have a dream of owning a reptile store. I think that dream has morphed. I think we need to be just a reseller of some sort, because I don't know that the reptile stores would exist anymore the way I would like to run one. But just those type of things, and looking at him doing something that we would love to do, it's just awesome to see. And the fact that he's continued it, despite he didn't run off and hide in Fiji or what have you, he's continued his dream. that is incredible. I don't know. I'm amazed by him. And he's like, one of you said, he's made it public. He's not hiding. He's, in the public domain and whatever. I mean, it's now good that he's getting back with his family and, what have you, but it's awesome.
And he was gutting it out so much on camera that people had no idea. And so if you read a lot of these comments, they're just like, I had no idea he was this close. But he put everything he had for that day into the video and sharing his vision through YouTube. And what I didn't realize, once Brian put out the video, so many other YouTubers came and said, I'm doing reptiles on YouTube because of Brian Barczyk. And I thought about it. And I mean, Camp Kennan, who's one of the people that I watch.
Yeah, I love
He originally started. It was Animal Bites TV.
Mm-hmm.
He started with Brian. So Brian created reptile YouTube as we know it. And every single one of these people that are big time YouTubers were influenced by Brian, and Brian embraced them all and said, go for it. Let's make this bigger. Let's make this better.
Right. He wasn't negative to these people. He actually rooted them on. Let's get there. There's room for everybody. That is incredible.
Yeah, I think it's an example. And we see this. We really see that there's two types of people that get involved with our wonderful reptile community. There's the type that is there to build an empire and to build themselves into some expert thing. And then there's the people that are there to build a community. And I think you can see people, and so many of them can go into one of those two buckets. And obviously, I like the people who build a community.
So we have an answer to what Adam raised for. He raised over 7,000 and selected the Emerald Tree Boa to sponsor the enclosure. So that's
good
cool.
Choice.
I'm sure Bill will be happy about that. I'm bummed about the frill dragon, but the frill dragon is the Reptarium's themed animal, or whatever you want to call it. It's their logo.
Well, I would support that too.
Right. Okay. All right.
Sean, you'll just have
if you're talking about Adam, he did a live. So if you look at Wiccan's Reptiles and you look up on his channel and look at the live, it'll be recorded there.
Sean, you'll have to do a Reptile Show reporter fundraiser to sponsor
frill dragon. I don't know if I don't know. I guess that's a good idea. I don't want to ask people for money. I don't do well with that. That's why I hide the back and I do the doctoring. And I let the other people take care of the money.
That's right.
Sean,
let's talk a little bit about the Reptarium experience, because I think we can. Awesome. Both of us have been there at different times. Every time I've been there, Brian was not there. So everything I'm going to say, Brian was not even at the Reptarium. But what you can see there is this incredible experience that he developed for people to be able to interact with animals. And it's kind of like you're going over to a friend's house and just looking at their reptile collection for an hour.
Yeah, and I'm showing the picture of my family and I with my youngest two and the capybara that you're able to hold and play with. There, that is like, and these cages were actually built by some of them were built by the guy that we're going to potentially go down to Dayton, and so there's just the world is. And he was talking to who was he talking to the other day? I was just listening to his podcast. He was talking to Dylan, and I learned more about him. But the whole circle of Dylan's cages in the background are custom reptile habitats or what have you, and it's just. But it's awesome that they started this. But there's the Reptarium front. It's an unassuming building.
A small, like 3-door strip mall.
And you think it would be nothing, but it's built out to the nth degree. You've got these rocks and that was another thing that what Paul Barkley had built was the rocks that you moved around and what have you. Yeah, it's just incredible. And the animals you have there, it's just like There was a crimson iguana, but and they had
That's the
this
one
big.
that bites.
They had the big tortoise, two turtle Tom, the Aldabra tortoise, which was huge. There's Abigail and me and my wife with the tortoise, and they had. These are just some of the pictures. A two-headed snake.
Which did, I think, come from Reptiles by Mac, by the way. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think that was the origin.
All right, what else do I have here? I've got Mary with the capybara again. That was in the that was in the room.
I mean, you can just pretty much walk around. There's like 4 to 6 Reptarium employees, and you can pretty much like go up to an enclosure, and if they're not busy, they'll say like, "Hey, you want to see that animal? Like, let's take it out." And they'll let you pet it and hold it. And my kids have pictures with these giant snakes, with Perdita. West, my oldest, held Salt, his albino alligator.
I'm putting
so
us. I'm going
now.
through the pictures as you're talking here, Tom. But and it's unfortunate I've got you in this position where you can't be seen while we're talking.
No worries.
Here,
That's
okay.
okay.
I'm going to put you up here, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to be behind the picture. So then you're there. You are. And
there's two.
You now scooted yourself out of the way.
There's 2 layers of enclosures, so some are real low, and those are great for the kids. They can just kind of sit there on the ground and chill with a giant snake or the armadillo. Adults and kids, and I think if you ever have felt like you don't fit in, you can go there. If you love reptiles, it just feels right. It just feels like you're with your reptile people, 20 or 30 other reptile people just digging this stuff up and loving it. So
and there's
it's just this good feeling. My
the alligators.
Yeah, my biggest hope for the Legacy Aquarium is that small feel, that intimate feel of the Reptarium transfers over to Legacy. And just to really, I can't wait to go to see what that experience is like,
Yeah, I'm
bigger.
definitely going to get me a year-long thingy. There was this on sale, and I was, I'm not going to buy it on sale. I want to support the aquarium. I'm going to buy it full price. So I guess I could have bought it full price, whatever. But
they're selling memberships, right?
Yeah, memberships, right?
Like a zoo.
Yes. So I'm definitely going to be on that that situation.
But I am very curious to see if the Legacy Aquarium will be more like a traditional aquarium where you buy a ticket and you can stay in there as long as you want. Or will they use the Reptarium model and sell like 2
that Reptarium model came from COVID because they were limited the number of people they could have. And it was so loved by everyone that they kept it. There's the Shell Dragon, one of the mascots. And I don't know, the way they talked about it, they talked about touch tanks and things like that. Of course, the Cleveland Aquarium actually has some touch tanks and things like that. And it's unlimited to the number of people and how long you can stay. So that model could be for multiple things.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think it's going to be tremendously popular and wicked crowded for a couple months. And I wonder what the hours will be like, because the Reptarium is open in the evenings only, and so that's somewhat limiting. Or is it going to be kind of like a 6-day or 7-day event area? And can you get married there? That I'm married, but I mean, we talk a lot. I have my work stuff on today. We do a lot of weddings.
I could marry my wife one more time there. We missed the 30-year anniversary, but maybe the 31st. Or actually, my parents are going to have their 55th anniversary.
There
in
you go.
Weeks.
Have it at the Reptarium.
They're down in Florida, so
well, and that's so. From what I understand, the Reptarium will be for private events in the future, going forward, and I hope they do that. And you want to have your 20 friends have a party at someone's reptile house, you can go to the Reptarium and do that. So it's a fantastic place. I can't think of anything else like it. Sean, you've also been out to Clint's, so I'm curious how
Clint's is definitely like it, but it's not built out the way it is. Clint's was, and I haven't been to Clint's lately because Bill went there after the remodel, and the remodel was a big deal. But Clint's is incredible. Clint walks you around if you get the way I did it. We planned a party with him and paid a
awesome.
a little king's ransom to be there for a couple hours, and actually we ended up. It was supposed to be 2 hours. We ended up there 4 hours. So I can't promise anyone that that'll happen to them. But that's what happened to me. So and you could hold almost anything. You could hold anything there. He would even let you pet the snapping turtle, which I was like reticent to do. But it's different. It's not something you get tickets for. You can just walk into there. I don't know if they're doing tickets now to there, but and it's in the middle of a downtown. It's kind of the same kind of feel, but it's in Utah. And of course, I was only at the Reptarium at night. The beautiful area around the Reptarium, I could tell by the houses and looking at them that it was a beautiful old town, Michigan. But I was all day and all night at the area in Utah, and it's an incredible view. The whole
Utah's
mountains
amazing.
and everything like that. It was amazing. But let's see what else we say. Does the Reptarium feed the reptiles while open or only when closed? I don't know. I didn't see them feeding anybody. Did you?
They're not feeding big snakes or anything like that.
When they're
there.
Right.
They'll give a banana to the.
That's also true. You can feed. We fed the tortoise, the Aldabra tortoise. You can they give you like a hunk of romaine. You could feed we fed the capybara. And they have a sloth there, but we couldn't because it was too late in the day. We got there later, and so the sloth was tired out, and they wouldn't let them, which is good because it's one of those things where you want the animals to be taken care of and not just you. So Stephanie Payne is here late as always, but we'll give her.
She's here.
And we'll put a picture up of her because I do have a picture and I'm done with all the other pictures. So she's actually now in the first stack picture because we actually got a picture of her and what have you. So there we go. There's her picture and there's her comment. We'll get rid of that and we'll get rid of the comment here in a sec. Once I get the comments, I guess that's what you got to be on. So that'll let me do that. And anyways, but yes, it's a great place. It's incredible. It's really well built. It's family friendly. It's kid friendly. It was wheelchair friendly. We could push Abigail around. with all the people that were looking at all different things. You had to, like any line, you get in a line, you have to be there. But yeah, it was and Liza Ann also knows about Clint. She was there. We got that picture for her. We're gonna have to show that picture again, I guess. Let's see where we go. Let's see. Get rid of all these other pictures. There she is with there she is, and of course you have to ignore Bill, but you can't. You never. I'm gonna have to crop Bill out of that picture.
Poor Bill. In that picture, you just need to Photoshop him out of there.
Well, we'll ask Liza Ann if she got a photo with Clint. I bet you there.
Yes, did she get a photo with Clint? I have a photo.
But I love that photo. It's such a good one.
I have a whole bunch of photos with Clint. Clint, me. I have videos of Clint and me. I have videos of Clint and me and his snapping turtle crawling up into his lap and me narrating the whole thing. I'm like, oh, I got to stop the sound on that because that was just being stupid. But like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Wait a minute. Sad poor Bill.
Yeah. What's the temperature?
All right. But back to the topic at hand. Yeah. He has lived an incredible life, and I hope it goes on many, many moons. And he's inspired the rest of us. Plus, no matter whether he's here or okay, she failed. He's got so many people who put on his legacy, his children to start with, which, I don't know how many children. I know he at least has 2 sons, right? Do we know?
Son and a daughter.
What? Son and a daughter?
Yeah. I think.
Okay. I thought he had 2. Okay, 2. But they obviously put on his legacy, but there's so many people here in the digital world whose lives he's touched. And
thousands.
Thousands, millions. And we'll remember him forever, Yeah.
One thing that I always thought it was interesting, I started following Brian around 2019, and people would always talk about like, oh, he's edgy, or he's done some things they don't like, but I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, I did not follow him in his early days, and by 2019, he was extremely enthusiastic and positive. And yeah, so he was a little edgy in the beginning of his career, but for someone that never followed him, I was like, these people are nuts. This is like the nicest, most inspirational guy on the internet.
But you can't change the past, kind of like in Rafiki smacking Simba on the head. It's behind you, but you also, it's who you are. It's who makes you who you are. It may have created this whole thing. I mean, we don't know what would have happened if he wouldn't have been so edgy. You never know. Sometimes you have to be edgy to be watched, and then once you get yourself and you get an audience and you start doing things better and you do things that are less edgy, then I don't know. I don't, I have no idea what was in his head, but
I have not watched anything of his before 2019. I just haven't. I mean, that's when I started. That's when I started my YouTube channel. Fell in love with his style and kind of copied it to start with, and didn't even realize I was copying it until my wife saw a Brian Barczyk video and said, "You're kind of doing your videos just like Brian." Like, really? Okay. Yeah, he's a big inspiration.
And I didn't actually notice that this is off topic, but that the animals at home thing, where he takes a little bit of the podcast, puts it before it, and then talks about it, and then has the podcast itself. I picked that up from him, apparently, because I do that every time. I pick out a part that you put in there that's interesting. I play it out of context a little bit, and I end it before the end, so you have to listen to the thing. And then I do it, and I've done 14 of those. So that's crazy. But
this is what happens, and we as a community, we grow together, and some people figure things out, and then that just becomes just part of our community growth, even part of our vernacular.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we watch what we follow and we see, and then we imitate it. You imitate what you like, and that's good.
Over 20 years ago, when I did that digital magazine Chameleon News, I came up with this thing about gradients and the different gradients, and the last gradient that was important was exposure gradient, and I just made that thing. I just made that up. But ever since then, I talked about the exposure gradient, and I just noticed that two guys just did an entire web class on exposure gradients, and it's like,
I hope you got a cut, Bill.
Copyright that term.
Who knows? But it's not. If you do something worthwhile, it becomes part of the community, and that's the best thing it could be. I mean, I can't imagine taking any of the things that I have done or put out into the community and demanding that somebody recognize me for it. And I mean, it's just when you want the community to grow, that's how it happens.
Bill, I'm curious. You got to go down to Animalcon USA. Did you go for both? Were you?
Yep.
For both, right? So
I'm an inaugural member.
Yeah, so that had to have been a big risk as an entrepreneur to start a whole new conference like that. And
for Brian,
what does it take to do something like that and have that vision to put like a big layout of cash and plan a giant event?
It requires a passion for what you see the world to be, what it could be, that doesn't listen to all of the risks. And I talked to Brian specifically about this. I do the Reptile Entrepreneur podcast, and so I have specific interests in the people who have such a vision for what doesn't exist that they just put everything into it. And that was what Brian did. He wanted to see this community come together. And this was the best way he knew how to do it. And he saw it happen in other industries. And he said, I want that for my industry. And so he just did it. And no, it doesn't make sense at all. And you look at that first one, and I believe, I don't have the inside track, but from the different conversations, I get the idea. It just barely squeaked by. I don't know if it broke even, but his purpose of that was to bring the community together. And it's amazing. I can tell you, I can see a difference, a huge difference in the reptile influencer content creator community since he started that. And rightfully so, because this is the first time that we're all together. We're usually off in our little studios, and sometimes we bump into each other online. I mean, we've been doing this more often in the last couple of years. But other than that, before that, we were just all in our own little worlds, and we just meet on YouTube or Instagram. And so he truly started a new chapter in our community's life. And we're just at the beginning of it. We are so lucky that we get to be part of this, and we get to see it grow. I am so excited for what's in store for us as a content creator podcasting community. We're just at the start.
Absolutely. And we have Brian to thank for that. And we have this opportunity to thank him. And that's what it's been awesome. That was, I think, they obviously had a plan. And now we can all share how much Brian meant to us, how he influenced us, and really how he created this whole new thing, like you said, Reptile YouTube, and then to bring everybody together in one place, amazing.
Yep. And it was on, and you can tell by looking at how it was structured, how it was put together. There was, and I hope I'm not stepping on toes here, as a entrepreneur, as a marketer who puts together business plans and such, I didn't see a strong business plan behind that as to how this was going to make money. And my interpretation of that was this was running off of pure passion for Brian to bring the community together. Because if you had a board of directors who was saying, okay, how are we going to make money on this? The easiest way to make money is to charge the influencers and all the content creators, because they're coming and they would be your target for funds to break even. Absolutely not. There was no charge for us to get in if we were a certain level. I mean, you can't let everybody come in. There's a certain level that if you were part of the community and you had a certain track record and a certain size, then you got to come in and you got to be part of that. And I can tell you that is a huge, huge leap of faith, because you have to commit to a certain number of hotel rooms. And so, okay. And I think that they got all of the hotel rooms, but it came up to the last minute. And then you're counting on the ticket sales to help you be profitable, hopefully break even. And there aren't enough of pre-sales for you to feel comfortable. You are dependent upon a walk-up traffic, and of course, you have no idea what that's going to be until the day it happens. So this was not put together as a money-making venture. This was pure passion and love for the community.
Awesome.
Okay. I think at this point we've reached 55 minutes, and I'm going to end it at this juncture. But I can actually tell you, Bill, being part of national conferences, planning them, and yeah, that is so true. That there's so much that you have to outspend. There's so many thousands or millions of dollars included in those type of things. But boy, I guess I'll give you both a final word, and then I'll give mine, and we'll go from there. Bill?
Just that I love doing this, and I love being part of this influx. You've noticed in the last 2 years there have been so many more of these. We'll call them video podcasts, live sessions going on, and it's exciting being and watching that grow. We're at the first steps of what this is going to become, and we get to watch it happen.
All right, Tom.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the invite, Sean, tonight. It was great to talk about Brian. Always good to talk to you and Bill. So thank you much.
Thanks for sending me to the Reptarium as well, because I was a little bit, you're always anxious about a new place, but it was incredible. I'm going to go back every time I go to that Detroit area of Michigan. But and I'd like to thank everyone who's joining us. Thanks to Brian, who made this kind of thing. I don't know if he's the only one who made it possible, but boy, he led this many moons ago. And not this kind of live show, but just the reptiles and YouTube and what have you. And most of our people have been on YouTube tonight. So thanks to him as well. And I really hope that someday I get to meet him. And I hope that the Legasea opens before he goes away. Thanks everyone. Have a great night.
See ya.